Hey guys, welcome back to World of Warships. Today we are taking a look at update 15.7 and everything new this update. It's going to be the start of a very good end of 2026. Holiday Convoy, which is pretty similar to what they did last year in the second half, giving away a lot of ships that you can just grind completely for free, as well as earning doubloons while playing. Very excited to take a look at that. Of course, we also are getting early access to Pan American destroyers, which look to be some pretty strong gunboats. In fact, they're getting some buffs on release, which is maybe why you haven't seen anything from me on those. We're also getting an update to the AA mechanics, finally, so we shall see if there is a little more gameplay here. It's been my main complaint, really, over the years. There's not a lot of gameplay between carriers and surface ships, so hopefully they have managed to address that, as well as a new set of bonuses. And in the armory, we do have a few new things, like a collection for a new special commander in the Spanish line. Very excited to take a look at that one, as well as a new Spanish Tier 9 battleship. So without further ado, let's take a look at this holiday convoy. This I am so excited for. I was really hoping they would do something like this, given how the first half of the year went. Some very expensive ships and not a lot for the average player to grind out, at least in my opinion. So what you will be able to gain in this event by just playing the game: Bismarck 41, Yiming, Messina, Independencia. Apologies for pronunciation. Prince Vanarani, this coming back. That used to be a steel ship. Hoffman as well. And Kitakami. A few others as well have been announced, but very happy. Bismarck 41, manual secondary is really cool. Yiming having that special Torp immunity consumable. Not a fan of that design-wise. Some sap light cruiser. Strong carrier. Prince Vanarani, this one, and Hoffman being the steel ships from a couple years ago. Now you can grind towards them completely for free just by playing the game and spending some in-game resources, some coal, some steel, some research bureau. I'll go over how you can grind that in a little bit here, but also we have a few new ones announced that we haven't seen any specs for. We'll have to wait and see. Rodina, Togasa, these will also be available. Not even gonna try and pronounce this one. Apologies as always. This one looks a bit like a Carnot, eh? Tier 10 version, as well as, yes, New Jersey. If you haven't seen it yet, New Jersey has been announced and its characteristics have been announced. It is going to have a combat instruction based on its support consumables. And if you use the support consumables on teammates twice, you're gonna get a combat instruction that gives you 35% better dispersion and 33% higher alpha damage for like 3 salvos. It looks absolutely incredible. So how do you get these? Well, you earn holiday convoy tokens just by playing the game. So 1, 3, or 5 matches in randoms or co-ops. You will also be able to spend things like coal. Up to 650,000 coal can be exchanged, and an unlimited amount of steel and research points can be exchanged. So for a rare tier 8, it's going to cost you 60,000 tokens. A rare tier 9, 84,000. A rare tier 10, 140k. These are somewhat similar, I would say, to their cost in coal. If I am remembering correctly. We'll look at a community main calculator here in a second, which I highly recommend you go check out if you want to see which ships will be somewhat attainable to you. It will take into account how much playtime you think you have and the resources that you can spend as well. The legendary tier 10 ship, that is going to be Kitakami, so extremely difficult to get that one. The epic tier 10 is going to be the New Jersey, also very difficult to get that one. These are mostly meant, I would say, for people who have been playing the game for quite a long time, Kitakami and that New Jersey. However, something like Bismarck 41, pretty chill to get that one with 60,000 points in my opinion. This will be linked in the description down below, but a community-made calculator here. You can decide how much you're willing to play and which ships that you want to get. So in this case, New Jersey is what I put in, and that's going to require 400,000 tokens in this event. And for me, I thought, hey, I can do 5 battles a day, 5 days a week. I'm someone who plays this game all the time. It is what pays my bills. I'm very fortunate to be able to do that. So that means I will get quite a few tokens, 1,200 tokens there per day for 5 of those days. And then how much am I willing to exchange here? My account actually doesn't have that much coal at the moment. So coal and steel won't convert any research points, and that would get me to the New Jersey as an example. However, that's 400,000. If you want something really fun that's not terribly expensive, Bismarck 41 is looking very attainable. Manual secondaries on a Bismarck where you're in control of them is so much fun. Prince George, very, very good ships that were only available for Steel Will event a couple years ago. Much more attainable as well. Very cool that Wargaming worked with, I believe, someone in the community to make this calculator, and should be a great help to you. So again, linked in the description down below. Go check this out. It's going to be a really good event. I'm very excited for this next half of 2026. This, of course, will be going on all the way through to the new year. And if you want the doubloons, it will cost you 9,000 tokens, and that will get you 3,000 doubloons. Notably, this is not something you can save up. If you want all the doubloons, I believe it's 18,000 doubloons total, you have to spend on the 3,000 doubloon packs each update. So it's not something you can get right at the end. You have to consider that up front. But overall, I'm just so excited for that sort of event to be running alongside the new update content we're getting here. Pan American Destroyers. Now, the NDA lift on this was actually on Monday, and I didn't play them for you. Don't worry, I will be. I definitely will be. But 20 de Julio, apologies for pronunciation as always, and Almirante Irizar, that's a new premium cruiser with AP secondaries. They look very strong. However, they're getting some pretty massive buffs only on release. So I didn't feel like it was that good to make a video. Usually I can make a video with a non-buffed ship and do a decent job of accounting for that buff coming through. But 20 de Julio's getting a small reload buff. I could account for that, okay? I can manage that in my commentary. Torpedo range, going from not even stealth torping really to a full stealth torp ship. That is a massive, massive playstyle difference. The combat instruction, which is one of the main gimmicks on this ship, the bonus to AP shell damage increased from 33% to 50%, and it's getting 6 extra seconds on its heal. It's not a super heal, but that's a lot of extra HP throughout a game. I didn't feel like I could account for that in my commentary on the ship, so that's why you didn't see anything on that one. The rest of the line also got quite a few buffs, so that's, again, why I am not looking at those just yet. Tomorrow, I should be looking at that, don't you worry. Or maybe I'll do Irizar first. This is a secondary focused cruiser, light cruiser, very weird that. But look at this reload buff, 4 to 2.8 seconds. It's also going from standard maneuverability up to like Minotaur, like the British light cruiser maneuverability, as well as gaining a super heal. I think that's too much for me to account for in my commentary. So that is why you haven't seen them yet, and you will see them in the following days. Certainly they do look interesting. The destroyer line, very gunboat heavy. No smokes on these, notably, as you will be forced to open water gunboat with them, but very interesting to have a time-based reload booster. So you gotta pay attention to that, but can be very, very powerful. This armor-piercing barrage combat instruction, it automatically activates, so there is no saving it or anything like that. So timing this is going to be a little weird. I'll be very curious to play with it, but it's based on main battery hits. Looks like it charges very, very quickly, so it's not something that's going to take a while to get charged up, and then you feel bad because it auto-activates. I think it will be quite reasonable. Notably, we also have a 20% engine boost here that lasts 120 seconds, and that heal, as already mentioned. This ship should be a pretty strong gunboat, I am thinking. Improved pen angles on the AP here, as well as slightly shorter fuses. So that should be a very strong gunboat, although not the most HP, as you notice. So we will be very reliant on those heals with this line. And then Irizar, probably still going to be a main gun focus ship. Again, I haven't played these yet. You got smoke generator, light cruiser with HE and AP on this one. But these secondaries, they want you to run a secondary battery with AP only. I believe the AP has such good pen angles, though, and shorter fuses that it almost functions like SAP. So we shall see what that is all about. Huge bonus tied to this combat instruction for those secondaries. Massive damage buff, range buff, and pen capacity there. And it's based on hitting with your main guns. Again, very interested to take a look at that one. Smoke firing light cruiser with a super heal coming soon, as well as that improved maneuverability. Should be pretty powerful. Armor looks 25, 30 deck armor is okay-ish, but it looks like we do have a pretty large citadel. This step up here is really important, as if you overmatch through, you're going to get citadels on this ship. If this little step up wasn't here, it's almost comical how narrow this portion is. It's not really, in my opinion, this isn't even like a massive weakness broadside, because it's just a small target to hit on the broadside. This is mostly going to be a detriment when you're trying to angle. If this was all like waterline or a little above waterline, it'd be a lot easier to take less damage, but that is going to cause a lot of pain, so we're gonna have to be pretty careful about how we play this one. Irizar, by the way, will be available in Admiral bundles, so very expensive. That it is going to be 40,000 doubloons or 160 US dollars, so not a cheap ship here at all. However, this is not the only ship that you can grind that is relatively new and quite exciting. Remember, this is why I'm so excited for the holiday convoy, is that there are ships that you can earn for free, and just by playing the game, spending some in-game resources that are really fun and really cool. This is what I'm talking about, Wargaming, when I say that it's fine to have very expensive ships for players to buy if they so choose, but also have things in the game that the free-to-play player, the $10 to $20 a month player, can get excited about as well. And that is what Holiday Convoy represents. There's a little something for everyone. To do the IGN meme. It's true. There is a little something for everyone to get excited about in this update. In fact, a lot with that Holiday Convoy. As always, with early access for destroyers, this new line, wait 2 months would be my recommendation. Don't spend on early access. That is not a good use of your doubloons. And wait the couple months and then grind the line for free. You will get a little head start, by the way, in the event pass. Everybody can grind towards the tier 5, so that'll get you started on the tier 5 there, as well as if you buy into the event pass, you will get a tier 6 premium destroyer, as well as getting to the tier 7 tech tree in early access. So that'll be nice. If you do that side of things, then you can grind all the way through the XP required to get the tier 8. And then once that unlocks in a couple months, you can instantly go into playing the tier 8. That's pretty cool. Notably, this is not going to be the new style of Battle Pass. This is the old 2-line progression one. Seems this style was just a test for the last update. It's a little confusing, but overall, I think it was pretty solid, to be honest with you, especially with this having the premium ship that I think is the major reward outside of things like steel and coal throughout the Battle Pass available up front. I think that is really, really nice that you don't have to grind all the way to the end to get that. It was a little confusing though still too, so nice to see that we're going back to the old style for just a little bit. Hopefully people do get used to it. I think maybe it's just a situation of change is difficult and we're resistant to that perhaps. So that I think could be a good way forward, that new Battle Pass style. I honestly did not mind it. Speaking of change and being resistant to it, let's see what they've done with the AA update. Oh boy. So defensive AA is no longer a consumable. They have changed that to be built into your ship, and it is now functioning like combat instructions. So you have to farm it up. You have a changed AA defense, priority, and concentrated fire. No longer is it 180 degrees on your ship. It is now a 360 degree activated effect. So less complex gameplay there. As I mentioned previously, I'm looking for more dynamic gameplay, more control, more skill expression that allows me to engage the carrier. This looks like less to start with. However, we should not judge too harshly. This concentrated AA fire mechanic will be available as a combat instruction. Progress bar will fill anytime the carrier is flying around within your AA. It looks like it'll take like 40 to 50 seconds of that to actually get full progress. And then once it's fully charged, you will get a temporary high intensity AA boost, similar to what we would get of the old defensive fire consumable. So you don't get the consumable up front. I was looking, actually that video is not out yet, but there will be a Bungo video soon, and I talk about how important it is to have that spotter plane accuracy on a instant effect early game because it's a consumable versus a combat instruction on Satsuma that you have to farm up. There's a big difference there in how powerful it can be. However, this is available for every ship now. So every ship, even ones without defensive AA previously, has this concentrated AA fire effect, which sounds like it'll be AA is quite a bit stronger overall if we are activating this mechanic. Notably, they have also added an instantaneous damage based on the enemy squadron's total HP. So it is percent-based damage. So even ships with weak base AA will have a massive bonus there because of percentage-based damage to the planes. So could look like a serious buff to AA here. I still need to play with it and mess around with it. I don't want to judge it too harshly, but it still doesn't feel like there's a lot of gameplay here. Perhaps, though, having this combat instruction style defensive AA will be enough to tie me over until we can get some actual mechanics. I don't know. I played the missile mode on World of Warships Legends, and I was surprised at how much depth they had there. So maybe they can bring some of that depth and engagement to the AA system here. So that is the new defensive AA or concentrated fire mechanics and the change to defensive fire. How then are we dealing with the changed consumable? So that is no longer going to be a consumable. It's going to be replaced with auxiliary and torpedo weaponry coordination. So it will still buff your defensive AA a little bit. Concentrated AA fire progress per second. That is the combat instruction that gives us the new version of defensive fire. And you're going to get progress faster. So if you use this, you gain progress faster towards what was kind of the replacement of defensive fire. On top of that, you are also getting a 10% bonus to secondary battery damage, as well as torpedo tube reload time, 20% by the way. That's a lot. As well as airstrike armament reload time. Oh no, buffed Guden? Anyone? Uh-oh. I do not like this. No, please no. It is not a continuous buff. This consumable only lasts for 30 seconds. So it's not like a flat 20% DPM buff to Guden airstrikes. It's still a buff to Guden airstrikes though. I'm not a fan of that. However, this is also a buff to torp damage and torp boats. So if you can slot defensive AA right now, in the new update, you will be able to slot auxiliary and torpedo weaponry coordination. So some torp boats that currently have access to either defire or engine boost might actually decide to use this, considering you'll get a 30-second window periodically where you are getting 20% better reload on those torpedoes. That could be interesting. Speed boost is obviously very important for destroyers, as is sometimes the defensive AA swapped with hydro, and hydro is very, very important as well. So we shall see if this is worth getting or using over those two consumables in the new update. But for now, it is a big change. It is a big change to AA, and I don't know how it is going to play. So I'll have to play around with that in the new update, and then I'll give you my opinion, of course. With this, the defensive AA mod 1 is also removed from the game, and that means that you will be getting the full coal value in compensation. Very, very nice that they are just trading that back directly. Notably, coal can be used in the holiday convoy event to get you some cool premium ships like Bismarck 41. So interesting timing there. Very nice to see that. So a bit cautiously optimistic here. I hope it's good. I really hope the AA change is good, as the carrier and submarine mechanics have been a big pain point for me over the years. So glad to see they are trying some things here. Notably, carriers are also getting a buff this update. Targeted tactical consumables for aircraft carriers. So a damage control. Look at this. You can just damage control your allies. So a carrier that's paying attention can actually save the allies who are maybe on double permafires for a battleship. Maybe it is a cruiser that is still spotted because they're on fire, and maybe they would go undetected if the fire was put out. Or maybe a destroyer has lost their engine and needs to get out of a bad situation. You can just give them another damage control. That's cool team play. That is a lot of battle impact as well, that carriers also have the highest battle impact. So I'm a little concerned about this. We saw the Essex line come through with some support consumables, and that is just more battle impact while also having higher damage output than the Midway line. So I'm a little worried about that. However, we shall see how it goes. Repair assistance, it's just a heal. Very cool to see that some support here. Maybe we can get some damage decreases for this improvement here. That would be nice for someone like me. Balance changes also coming through, and that is in the form of improved cooldowns on plane replenishment. So pretty much across the board, we are seeing the carriers get a prep time for their plane replenishment reduced. So this means that more planes you shoot down are getting replenished faster. It means that maybe the defensive AA changes are a buff to AA overall. But is it about the same buff as the carriers are getting for their plane replenishment so that it's just a net neutral? Nothing has changed? I don't know. That is what I am worried about. I have speculated a long time that whenever Wargaming makes these changes to AA and surface ships, they give a subsequent buff to carriers and their ability to get planes back and get planes through AA that nothing really ever changes. And unfortunately, that's what it's looking like. Again, I have to stress this, I have not played with this, so this is all speculation on my part, but I'm worried as I have seen this pattern happen before. Still though, I am willing to give it a shot, and I hope that it does something to help us out here, us poor surface ship players. Onwards to Rarity System Update. This is pretty simple. They're just adding a new tier of economic bonuses above Epic. So for credits, for XP, and Commander XP, there's just simply a higher bonus than what Epic used to provide. That's all you really need to know. Outside of free XP is getting nerfed. The Epic bonus used to be 7,200. Now it's only 4,800. And the legendary grade is going to give you that 7,200 bonus. However, with that change, there will be a 1-to-1 exchange rate for the Epic free XP bonus to the new legendary one. So you're not losing out if you did not use up all of your previously 7,200 Epic bonus. That's not what's happening here. There's a 1-to-1 exchange rate, so any Epics you had previously will now just change color. We're getting a new set of brawls here as usual. There's an interesting one here, perhaps, based on consumable cooldown time and big smokes, that sort of thing. Could be interesting. The other ones are pretty normal. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles returning, so if you missed out on some cosmetics, there you go. And in the armory, a new collection is arriving for the Spanish Special Commander, as well as in the premium containers, you'll have a chance to earn the new battleship. And I say earn, probably that means buy, right? Premium containers? We shall see. This collection consists of 60 elements, and you'll get them from those premium containers. You will also find in separate bundles for doubloons or real money in the armory and premium shop. In sequential bundle for doubloons in the armory, the battleship, I need to learn the pronunciation. I apologize, I haven't yet. Or try to, in my case. Will be available at the end of this bundle. So much like Fuyutsuki is right now, I would assume the Spanish collection will work similarly. Well, where you'll have a bunch of containers in sequential bundles that'll give you a chance at the ship and get you towards that collection for the new special Spanish commander. And then the ship will be at the end, much like this Fuyutsuki example. This Spanish battleship is looking like a bit of an interesting brawler, not focused on secondaries. Haven't played this one yet, but if we look at the specs here, there's a modified shells, so kind of the Spanish gimmick of a F key that changes your shell type. Massive bonus to the alpha damage there, but notably huge reduction in our range. So we shall see how that plays out. Whether or not that will be useful or not, I am not sure. Usually out of an F key, I'm looking for more consistency, not more alpha damage. So I would be concerned that we're not getting much more consistency there, and we're paying the price of playing close in this battleship to get that. However, if it hits, it's going to do a lot of damage then. That's a huge alpha damage. It's before we even take something like heavy AP. Looking at this armor, we do have a waterline citadel by the looks of things with a bit of turtleback. However, it's not very well angled, so I don't think that's going to do a whole lot. With the release of update 15.8, so that's next update, next month in September, you will get access to the standard containers, so that won't give you a chance at this premium ship, but it will give you collection elements for the special commander, available for festive tokens. So that's like snowflakes, right, from the anniversary events. We've seen that before. So you can spend that on, there's some ships and things available there to grind for free. Next update after this one is also looking good. Second half of the year, guys, it's looking amazing. But this special commander, you can grind for free that way as well. I guess they are just giving us a small window to get them for paid content first, but there is a free way to earn this commander as well, which I'm very excited about. Notably, it's also in the 3rd week of this update that we will start to see this event go live for the battleship and for the special commander here. So you gotta wait a little bit. We should really look at his skills, right? Every time we get one of these new special commanders, we get some very interesting skills. So the enhanced skills, that is not the special conditional ones. This is just normal commander skills that are slightly improved. Looks like it's going to be aerial torpedo speed increase for carriers, for battleships, heavy AP shells, 10% instead of 7.5, seemingly synergizing well with that new premium tier 9 Spanish battleship and its F key we looked at. Cruisers, also heavy AP shells, and demo expert notably too. So gun builds, that'll be good for something like Castilla, buffing that AP even further, as well as Swift Fish. So it's looking like HE, demo expert, heavy AP, and Swift Fish if you have them. And then for destroyers, demo expert and Swift Fish. Not the AP one there, interestingly, for the destroyers. Unique talents. Now this is where it gets really spicy. Up to 4 times per battle, every time you earn 2 kills or assists, you will get a main battery Torp 2 reload time and aircraft prep time reduction of 2.5%. It's 8 kills or assists. That's a lot, but 10% DPM sounds pretty good. It's not insane buff, right? On a lot of the other special commanders, you're getting a bigger bonus on maybe some easier things to get, but it's still nice that you're getting a small bonus every time you get 2 kills or assists. But the bigger one here, and I think is much more important, especially for destroyers, is the ability to heal. Every time your ship HP reaches 75%, 50%, and 25%, up to 3 times per battle, you're getting 300 HP per second over 10 seconds. You're also getting a damage control party reload time, repair party reload time, and other consumables, a reload bonus to those. And it's not even punishing you for taking a huge hit in your destroyer, for example, going from 90% health down to 40%, where maybe you would skip over one of these buffs. Maybe only one activates it at one time. No, if a ship loses a large amount of HP quickly, the talent can trigger 2 or 3 times at once, and the effects will stack. The DPM buff looks like a small but nice little bonus throughout a battle. And then this heal is going to be especially impactful for destroyers, and the consumable bonus I think will be better for some of the larger ships where that flat HP, notice it's not percentage based. This is why it's better on destroyers. When it's a flat HP, it's stronger the lower your HP is because it's a higher percentage of what your base HP pool is. If it were percentage based, then it'd be really good on all ships, including some very healthy cruisers and battleships, but this is mostly for destroyers as far as I see it. At least the heal part of his talents. There's also a new daily rewards calendar for the anniversary update coming in September. So that starts September 1st. So a few differences in the rewards. Small bonus to logging in, basically. Maybe it's a little bit better. Recruiting station still going on, I guess. And some other content and additions. Not too much else here this update. However, Holiday Convoy has to be the absolute highlight for me personally. Seeing this sort of event come back where you can grind the game to earn really interesting, powerful premium ships, as well as doubloons to spend on other premium ships that are available in the armory or other events coming to the game. Very, 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 very excited for this. I am so glad they're doing this sort of thing again. My feedback again, Wargaming, will be that a little more consistency. This seemingly is going to be a very generous style event alongside the anniversary update coming. I think there's a tier 9 Soviet battleship you can earn in that one completely for free as well. It's nice to see. I love it. I'm so happy about this sort of thing. But can we not have the first half of the year be so dense with hundreds of dollars paid content or thousands of dollars gambling content being most of the excitement with the first half of the year updates? It is not a fun first half of the year for someone trying to make content on the game, man. it's not something I get excited about. This sort of thing I get so excited about. I am very, very excited for the second half of the year. And if you haven't been playing for a bit, somehow this ended up in your YouTube feed, now's a good time to play. This new update and going through to the end of the year, now's a very good time to play. So that's going to do it for update 15.7 and a little look at the future updates in 15.8, 15.9. Very, very exciting. What are you most excited for this update and in the future? I hope you guys are ready for a great second half of the year. I know I certainly am. As always, thank you very much for watching and have a great rest of your day.